then you really understand that how much a person is suffering. Because you also feel a little pain there. Your whole style of talking, your whole style of behavior, of commuting with others completely changes. This center is very important. On the left hand side is the mother's side, and the mother itself is. If the mother is a lunatic, you get a problem there. You might get it, we call it a heart. There are two hearts. One is the heart of the spirit, and one is the heart chakra. If a mother is a fanatic, she's a woman who is very fanatic about her food, things like that, then the children get it. It's a dangerous thing to play with children like that, to have complete discipline on the children and just keep them, must walk straight like a horse, put two things. And children should be allowed to have their freedom. Actually, when we suppress them too much, they become hooligans. That way Indians are better. They know how to bring up their children. They allow their children to have all the freedom. Just give them the idea of dignity. And when the children are so free with their parents in childhood, by the time they're about 4 or 5, they become extremely dignified. Like I see children saying words like, get out, get away. From where do they learn these words? They learn it from their parents, or learn it from friends, or someone they must be learning, because these words are normally not spoken by children. Get lost. I've seen a little child saying that, get lost. I mean, it's too much to say to someone. But it happens like that. Because we do not understand what we should talk before the children. How decently, we may be most indecent people, doesn't matter. We might be absolutely rotten people. Even a dacoit knows that he should behave properly before his children, because children will become dacoits. Even a prostitute will understand that she should not behave in a manner that the child takes to prostitution. It's a common sense that whatever we do, the children take so easily. So whatever you want to give them, whatever you want to impart them, that's how you should behave before them. But now, as the society is today, people are not paying so much attention to their children at all. They are so, still the ladies are, the mothers are still like brides, busy finding new husbands. Husbands are still like bridegrooms finding new wives. And the children, poor things, don't know where to look. God knows in what orphanage they have to end up their life. Even the industries like that. I wanted to buy yesterday a pure cotton frock for a little child. I couldn't find anywhere. Not one frock I could get in the whole of Derbyshire and also in London, for your information, which was pure cotton. I mean, we don't think that children can't bear this artificial man-made fiber. It's very dangerous. It's very bad for their skin. When you were young, you used cotton. You had mills of cotton here. And why give this horrible stuff to your children, which you never had? By the time they grow up to your age, they'll have all blotches on their faces. They'll be, I don't know what diseases they may have of their skin. No one realizes this. The kind of panties you are using, the kind of things you are using for them is very dangerous. I don't know what's going to happen to them. The things they are using, you never used them when you were young. Believe me. And these are the times when they really require complete attention. And these are the times when they are absolutely tortured. Even the industry is not worried about them. Why not make some cotton clothes for little children? Actually, I would say the government must pass a law that no children's clothes should be made of any artificial things. You can have the elders with that, doesn't matter. But for the young children, you can't give them atomic bombs to wear. This is too much. And these modern times, I think, are the cruelest for children. That's why very few children want to be born in these advanced countries. We have to bear the load in India. If you are not kind to children, imagine 2 children are killed by the parents. What sort of a society we have? Every week in London city itself, I used to think in England, but they told me it's in London city, 2 children are killed by the parents. But I have not heard a single case like that in India. With this cruelty towards children. I don't know what women are up to. Where are they going to take their figures and their beauties and everything in front of God? Such cruelty exists, such self-centeredness. Then with all this, the children develop this trouble and they have palpitations. They have very weak hearts. They are in your trust. God has given you such beautiful children that you should thank Him for that. They are not some surplus quantities have come to you. It's a blessing to you that God has given you children. If one woman in India doesn't get a child, she'll go and weep and ask every god and every prophet and everyone that she should get a child. While in Germany, it is going towards -5% growth now. They pay to a woman who has 5 children as much as the Prime Minister, or even more than that, but she won't have. She says, I lose my figure. Where are you going to take these figures? I don't understand. What are these figures for? Who is interested in your figures? Why? Why should we make ourselves so cheap? We are mothers and we should be proud of our motherhood. Motherhood is the highest thing a woman can achieve. I mean, I have achieved it because I am a mother for thousands. And I think that's the greatest thing that can happen to a woman is to be a mother. And mother and a guru, you can imagine my plight, is much worse. That you have to tell your children something to be done and you love them so much that you don't want to say that. Then you have to play some little sweet tricks with them to bring them round. It's such an interesting and a beautiful life to be a mother. We should be proud mothers. But I would say the men too are to be blamed because they are not interested in mothers. They are interested in younger and younger girls. It's a sign of perversion, I tell you. It's a sign of a complete perversion. At the time of Muhammad Sahib, there were many women and very few men because so many were killed. So Muhammad Sahib did not know what to do. So he thought they were pragmatic, as I told you yesterday, that with the society one has to be pragmatic. So he said, all right, we have to have marriages because without marriage, any relationship of any kind is adharmic, is against the valencies. So he said, we must have marriage. All right, now we have many women. So let us have distribution of women according to the men we have. If you have more men, then we'll have the other way down. But we have to marry. Means we have to take a collective sanction. A collective sanction has to be there to be blessed. So he said, all right, marry 5. But he himself, you see, was surprised at that time. People were so sensitive, they would not marry young girls. Old men would not marry young girls. They said, how can we marry these young girls, you see? So he said, no, all right, I'll marry one. Because where will these young girls go? There are no young men left. So what to do? But these days, if you ask an old man of 80 years, he would be very willing to marry a girl of 18 years. Stupid old fool, I call him. Because he doesn't understand. He doesn't understand that this girl is not going to respect him as a husband and he cannot enjoy the life of a husband. He is a grandfather, or call it a great-grandfather. He should behave like a great-grandfather. That's an ideal relationship he should have with a younger girl. All these ideals are confused today. Our relationships with others, every woman has to be attractive. Why? Every man has to be attractive. Why? For what? What are we going to achieve out of it? What is the utility? The attractiveness is all right as long as you are not repulsive. As long as you keep the ideal relationship with others. If the relationship becomes nothing but like a dog and bitches one, it's better not to have this kind of an ideal. It's absolutely wrong to run after something which is not our way. Human beings have to live with dignity and with complete sense of idealism as far as their relationship with each other is concerned. If you just say, what's wrong? Then it's anarchy. Everything is wrong then everything is wrong. It's not one wrong, but everything is wrong. But if you want to have a flowering society, then you must keep to your ideals of your family life. That's a very important thing, but it happens to you as soon as you get realization. I don't have to give a lecture on that. You just do it. You just become a very nice husband and a very nice wife. Beautiful families can come out of such. There are so many, you will see them. There are so many beautiful families now in Sahaja Yoga. And now the great children, the great sages who wanted to be born are being born to them. Many great children want to be born in this England, and there are many who are born. But I don't know how they are treated. If people understand them or not. They have no vibrations to see if they are sages or not. But born realized children are so many in England that I'm regretting sometimes the way they are treated. Nobody knows they are born realized. The way they talk nothing but wisdom. All these children are being insulted and humiliated by us who are so ignorant about them. I must say they are very brave. They are very courageous to take birth in the countries where they are not appreciated and looked after. Another extreme is in our country, I should say, where people will sell their whole country for the sake of their children. I mean, that's going too far. That's another nonsense we do. But something in between is that you love your children, respect them, they are your trust, they are realized souls, they are sages. They are the foundations of the new world that is going to come. And this is what it is a mother has to learn. The dignity of a mother must be respected. I am sure you all must have respected your mothers very much. But now, as mothers, I don't know if you will be respected. Once this is established that a mother itself is the highest position a woman can reach and she is to be respected, all the priorities will change among women also. Because what can they do? They have no place as mothers. So they just get fed up of their children. They think, what's the use of this motherhood? It's a thankless job. All this can only change when man changes within himself. When the transformation takes place. Just now, it is just one of the sermons that you could hear somewhere in a very, I should say, an orthodox place. But the whole, this orthodoxy becomes part and parcel of you, and you become so much tuned with it, absolutely tuned with it. You like it. You like to love your wife and nobody else in that way. And the husband likes to love her in a special way. While the wife wants to love the husband in a special way. It happens. There's no insecurity, otherwise you come back home and you find your wife has eloped with somebody. Imagine what a situation it is. I mean, since I came in first year, I got such a shock. We had a neighbor, she was 48 years of age, and her son was about 22, and he had a friend about 20 years. This lady eloped with that 20-year-old boy, and she had 3 other children whom she left. The house was sold. The whole house was, because under law, she gets half of the property or something like that. And the 3 daughters are now on the streets. The younger 3 children, where daughters are on the street, who's going to look after them? The lady, 48-year-old lady, is still a bride, going to the church and getting married. There's no dignity in this, no love, no affection. Christ you follow. Christ has said, you say, thou shalt not commit adultery. I say, thou shalt not have adulterous eyes. He's gone up to that subtle stage. We follow Christ. We wear cross. We go to the church. Where are we? So I come to you. To another center now is the Vishuddhi. This is a very important center in human beings. Because when this center is awakened, you become the witness. You become the collective. This is the center of the collective being. You become, again I say, you become the collective being when this center is awakened. It's a very important center. And now as I am with you, I must tell you about what we suffer from. And what Indians suffer from or the Eastern people suffer from is another thing. For example, Eastern people suffer from too much talking, right side Vishuddhi we call it. And the Western suffer from not talking at all, especially English, they never talk. Actually, you have to pinch them. They never laugh. That's the problem, is they'll just smile and it's regarded good manners, but this speech sometimes very boring. Now the left Vishuddhi is a thing which is very much more subtler than what we think of. Is the is a very funny sort of a situation where you get a left Vishuddhi, and that you get very commonly among the Western people because they have developed a new sense of guilt. I mean, everybody is guilty. Without going to the courts, without committing any guilt, everybody is guilty all the time. Like a lady, oh, I'm so guilty. What happened? I didn't say thank you to her. So it doesn't matter what is it to be guilty after all. Oh, I'm so guilty. What happened? I spilled some coffee. It's all right, doesn't matter, it can be cleared out. What is there to be guilty? But it is an unknown guilt people have. They don't know why they are guilty. Why they are getting all the time this feeling, oh God, I should not have done it. I should not have done that. What? What guilt? What guilt we can have? And this guilt is a horrifying thing. I have seen start from America, England, Portugal, Spain, Italy, all that, Switzerland, all these places, nothing but left Vishuddhi is the first problem and the last which I have to conquer. One lady got up and she said, Mother, I'm guilty because of Vietnam. I said, Vietnam? It's finished long time back now. What are you going to do about it? No, but I'm guilty about it. But why? What are you going to do about it? How are you concerned with it? What is your relationship with it? Why are you guilty? I just feel guilty. I said, it's nonsense. Like that. Everybody has developed this. Now, from where does it come? Let's see the source. The first source comes from Bible, which is very wrongly interpreted, saying that you are a sinner, a born sinner. I mean, absurd. What it means is that you are the one who is only aware of the sins, not the animals. You are the one who is aware of your ignorance, not the animals. You are the one who is aware of your blindness. Others are not. Animals are not. Why? Because within you is developed that I-ness. That I-ness, as I told you yesterday, is developed because of the ego and superego meeting here. Because you raised your head. Because this chakra was to be enlightened. You raised your head and this ego and superego went and met here, they calcified, you got your I-ness, and that's why you think I've done wrong or I've done right. Animals don't think like that. They are not bothered. They have to do what they do. They want to do that. They never sit down and say, I'm guilty. Have you ever met any animal who says that? Except for the human beings, all the time. Now, this has come to, it's a myth. It's a very big myth with which you are living. It's absolute myth, believe me. There is nothing like guilt. And this guilt is eating you off all the time. It is making you an inertia. It is making you feel so much lost. And this center is very important to be opened out. So first of all, before I start any program, I tell them 1 month I should say, Mother, I am not guilty, Mother, I am not guilty, 16 times. That's the punishment for being guilty. If you are guilty, you must go into punishment, all right? So this is the punishment for you, is to say, Mother, I am not guilty, Mother, I am not guilty. Say it 16th time, and that's how you get rid of it. It's so practical. It works out. With that, you get spondylitis, you get pain in the heart, you get this hand, what you call frigid hand, all problems you get with that. And that is all because of this mythical guilt you are working on. Now, the another myth comes, the source of it, I think, is the psychologist, the so-called psychologists. They have no sense of psyche because they have no way of entering into psyche. What they are doing is recording, finding out, and trying to cure people. How many mad people have they cured? Sahaja Yoga must have cured hundreds. How many mad people have they cured? They have not cured anyone. On the contrary, if you go to a psychologist, you might become more mad, the way they are mad themselves. Because the psychologists, when they talk to people, they don't know they are dealing with pathological cases, abnormal cases. And when you deal with the pathological cases, you yourself get intoxicated by that, or you can say that there is contamination and you don't know how to protect yourself. Jung is the only psychologist, I would say, because he was quite a perfect person after he got realization who talked of it, that a physician can get sick. Now they start becoming pathological, like poor this Freud, half-baked. He is the one who started talking about sex and things like that, but he himself was a perverted man. He died of cancer. What did he get in his own life? He was such a perverted man. I mean, imagine he was a wretched soul who died of cancer. How can he guide you on any point whatsoever? Now, whatever he taught, we took him as Bible. More than Bible, people believe in Freud. More than Christ, they believe in him, actually. And if you reduce it to a minimum sentence, you can say he made everyone a sex point. You are nothing beyond it, nothing more than that, nothing else but that. Imagine to reduce your dignity to that level. As a mother, I just give him a grace mark by saying, poor fellow must have dealt with pathological cases and he was caught up and he gave these wrong ideas to people. He dealt only with the psyche, with the left side, which is also starting from there, but ends up there, ends up into your superego. So, sex addiction takes you to superego, means it takes you to your subconscious mind and to your collective subconscious. Now, all your problems you are having or sex are because of this. Emotional behavior and all perversions take you to collective subconscious. There was a girl in India which is very abnormal. She came to me and she said that she wants to be with men and she wants to be with girls and she wants to marry a girl. She wants to dress up like a man. I said, really? So I gave her some Surge Yoga treatment and I found that there was a man in her. She was reduced to nothing. It was a man who was possessing her. And she was given these ideas through that man. And that's how she was talking. She was a possessed person. All these abnormalities come because you get possessed. There was a girl in Cuba who came to see me from Cuba in America, a short girl, very petite, small, good-looking girl. And she told me, her husband told me, Mother, surprising, my wife can take whiskey bottle neat like that, once she can drink it down. So I said, all right, sit down. I gave her a bandhan, as we call it. And I saw a big, huge, like a globetrotter, really a very huge Negro coming out of her. And I looked at her. I said, do you know any Negro? She said, Mother, do you see him? Do you see him? He is the one who drinks. I do not drink. She said to me. And when he was distracted from her, she became such a sweet wife to her husband. All these abnormal behaviors, when you overdo it, lead us to that collective subconscious where you catch all these horrible people. Also, it can lead you to collective supraconscious if you become very, very egoistical. Then you can become Hitler. What's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong with Hitler? Nothing wrong. He was perfectly correct when he said that he has come to save all the Aryan race and his nose was a specially made one. I mean, God must have been surprised to hear all that. I mean, you have to create some variety, isn't it? But this is what it is. I mean, these absurd things that we do in our life as saying, what's wrong? We jump into those ditches where you cannot return without some load on your head. And those loads work out all the things and you become such abnormal people. Then on the streets you will stand and shout like a madman. And if you provoke them, they are even worse. So better not talk to them and argue with them. Forget them. All those fanatics that we see are nothing but possessed people. Most of them are possessed. I would say so many of presidents and these despotic people, most of them are possessed. I meet them, I shake hands with them, they shake before me, and I know that they are possessed people. How are they there? They should not be there. They are possessed, they possess other people, they make them work out, and all this aggressiveness starts through their possessive powers. So this center is the one which brings you back to normal. And then once the Kundalini rises and touches your fontanelle bone area and opens it out, then from your hand through this center, that collective personality starts manifesting. You become the collective personality. You become. Again I say, it's the actualization. It is not that we are brothers and sisters, let us form United Nations and make good money out of it. It is actualization that you feel another person within yourself. And this is what is most important. This center, I can talk about this, I don't know how many hours, but this center has 16 subplexuses. And it looks after your eyes, nose, ear, nose, throat, everything, neck, even your face and all that is governed by this. A collective person, a collective being has a face, which has a coefficient that even the face can emit vibrations. But this is to be seen only through vibrations. You will know who is the collective being. The most important is this part of the head, where I told you that when you bow yourself to wrong things, this is the biggest obstruction, is the lower plate of the brain, which is called as Murdha in Sanskrit language. It's very important, it gets swollen up, and a big barrier is built. And you become a person completely cut off from the all-pervading power. Means all the protections, all the guidance, all the nurturing things, everything starts disappearing from your life. Now we go ahead with that center to the center here, which is very important and which I must tell you, though it's time to finish this lecture, is the center of Agya, which is placed in the center of pituitary and pineal body, which controls our ego and superego. Between the optic chiasma, a very subtle center exists. Some people call it a third eye, but the third eye they see is not the one I'm talking about. The third eye means the eye which sees inside, not outside. This center is very important and is adorned by the deity of Mahavishnu according to Indian name, and English name is Lord Jesus Christ. This is a very important center. Now seek your Lord. Where do you seek him? Where does he exist? He is to be awakened and he resides here. Because most of you are coming from that background, I want to talk about it. Though Mahavira and Buddha, both of them also reside within us. Mahavira resides here and Buddha resides here. But Christ resides here in the center, inside the brain. Now this is a very important thing which all the Christian institutions have missed about Christ. That Christ is to be born within us, that he is to be awakened within us. That is only done through Kundalini awakening. And once he is awakened at that point, ego and superego both are sucked by him as a result of his awakening. And this is a very big thing. That's why I said, I am the door. But very nice, they crucified him. But that crucifixion was also a drama, because ego and superego has pressed these points so hard that to pass through that, you needed somebody to be just divine. And he was Omkara himself, the divine personality, who never died and passed through that. Krishna has said, who is at this point, has said that Nainam Chidanti Shastrani Nainam Dahati Pavaka. He said, this divine power, this Omkara, never can be killed by anyone. It cannot be destroyed by anyone. And this itself took the birth of Jesus Christ to create that passage for us. And that is the thing he proved, that it cannot be killed. But they are all one and related to each other. This you will discover in Sahaja Yoga itself. Because once that a pod is established, you have to ask questions. What is the relationship between Jesus and Krishna? And you can discover eternal vibrations. They are all related to each other, very closely. Christ has said, those who are not against me are with me. Nobody has tried to find out who are those. It is said in the Bible that I'll appear before you like tongues of flames. Nobody tried to find out what is that. Or tree of life. Yes, this is the tree of life. So he is to be awakened within you. That's the main point that he said, that somebody will come and awaken it so that you will know my Father forever. Now, which one of the institutions which are running in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ are doing that job? What they are doing is having a fete or a carnival, collecting money, building churches, this, that. You have to build every human being as a church by awakening Christ in them. That was what was meant by baptism. But who did baptism in the real sense is the Kundalini awakening, where it comes on the fontanelle bone area, which is called as Brahmarandra, and breaks through that. Who has done that? None. I went to a church called Unity Church. They have united all the churches, I believe, and also united all the ghosts of the world. All kinds of fake gurus are there. All kinds. They have no discrimination of any kind. I was so amazed, Christ. He was not so diplomatic, I should say, because the way he lashed at these people, and then he said, if they are hot, we can manage them. Means if they are hot, means they are cut up, we'll manage them. If they are cold, we like them. But if they are halfway, I spit them out of my mouth. These are his words. Because these half-baked people, compromising with the devil and talking of God, how are they going to deliver the goods? Why not awaken your Christ within yourself and see for yourself? You'll be amazed when you raise the Kundalini and Kundalini comes up to this point and it cannot go further. Among all the Christians, this is a problem. You have to ask them to say Lord's Prayer and it works. That's a mantra. At the time when the center is getting, because Krishna is a collective being, Allahu Akbar means the same. You have to put your fingers into ears and say Allahu Akbar. Realize souls. And you get the Kundalini rising. You can see the pulsation of the Kundalini at the triangular bone. You can see the rising of the Kundalini. You can feel the breaking of the Kundalini at the Sahasrara, at the point where it comes and breaks. So you enter through the gate of Christ, who sucks these two institutions and makes the way here. And once the Kundalini rises about Agya, you become thoughtless. The limbic area is the kingdom of God, from where you are guided and the Kundalini passes through. That's the last job that is to be done, and now it is done. That is done now en masse. It has to be done. It was to be done. It was promised. The time has come. But where are the people? Sometimes I wonder. I'm in England now with you. You'll be amazed that in India, these people have seen thousands and thousands are there to receive realization in the villages. Here I find people don't want reality. You should have a circus. At least English people come, but Indians, very few, and they never stick on. It's so amazing, I can't understand. It's amazing how things work out. When are we going to take to it? I mean, it's free. You don't have to pay anything. It's your own. It is spontaneous. It is there. But still, they get realization, they get lost. It's something so surprising. I've been working here, you won't believe, 10 years now. 8 years? 8 years. For 4 years, in the first 4 years, I had 6 people. They would come up, go down, come up, go down. I said, what sort of people? 4 years. Can you imagine? In India, I go for 3 months and I get thousands. Is it that there are very few who are going to be saved? As told by John, he said only few thousand are going to be saved. Is that what we are going to do in the West? But England is the minimum. You'll be amazed. Even Italy is better. Switzerland, Geneva, so much better. What's happening? Here they run after a man who is asking for a Rolls Royce. A fellow who asked for a 59th Rolls Royce, they starved themselves and made a Rolls Royce for him. And when he came, they gave him the Rolls Royce. Imagine. They said he's a perfect master. There is no pure intelligence left in the mind to understand that how can you get spirit for this nonsensical Rolls Royce. At least Derbyshire are not, people from Derbyshire should not be impressed by that very much, because they make it here. You cannot make God, can you? You can make Rolls Royces, all right. Can you exchange Rolls Royce for God? They are running after such horrible things, like horrible another thing that somebody is trying to teach you how to fly. The wife of the director is sitting here, who started suffering with epilepsy. Her husband got epilepsy, her daughter got epilepsy. They all were epileptic and they were paying thousands of pounds, 3,000 pounds to fly. And they started hopping themselves like a frog. Imagine. With pure intelligence, you must ask that guru to drop himself from the leaning tower of Pisa. I think it was made only for that. And see if he can fly even 1 inch higher. Why not use your intelligence? You are supposed to be the most balanced and intelligent people. Yesterday I told you that you are placed. The most important place in the universe is the heart. England is the heart of the universe, and the heart is lethargic. What can I do? You have to tell me, what am I to do to pump this heart into reality? There are seekers. I would not say there are seekers. When it came to hippism, thousands became hippies. But all absurd things they accept very easily, and why not the thing that you are seeking? It's beyond my mind, I cannot understand. Now, I didn't come to this place as an immigrant, as I told you. I came here because something happened and my husband got elected to this country, which was important, which was, I think, was preordained, was to be. But I have to implore you now to take to this and understand that this is what William Blake has told you, that the prophets are going to be in this country, that the God of men are going to become prophets and they are going to have the power to make others prophet. That is Sahaja Yoga. There's nothing else but this. He has promised so many things. He has even described the house where I live. He has described the house that we are occupying now, exact position. He has described the ashram where we lay our foundations. Into such details that I am amazed. Such a great sage and a seer was born in this great country and nobody wants to see through. Now what am I to do? I hope very soon people would realize that they have to take a very big role, a very important and vital role in the transformation of the whole humanity and saving of this disastrous time. They are the ones who have to lead people into the kingdom of God. I can hope and bless that. May God bless you. Luckily, we have a very good standard of the Sahaja Yogis in Derbyshire. Really surprising. And Blake has mentioned Derbyshire very much. They wanted me to come to Derbyshire. I said, Birmingham has been sufficient for me and I will not go to Derbyshire. They said, Mother, please. And then he said, Blake has mentioned you come to Derbyshire. That's how I'm here. And I hope that this center will definitely create very good search yogis. Great profits can be created out of this. After all, Blake has mentioned Derbyshire very strongly, recommended it. But what I find today when I went for a drive, there's a lot of black magic on. People are indulging into horrible, horrible things. I was worried, quite worried. It's a very dangerous thing. It's dangerous for you, for your children, for your families, for everyone. And I found those pockets. I was amazed how they are prospering here. May God give you strength and proper wisdom to understand how you are placed in relation to the great work of God. Now, if you have any questions, we can have for about 5 minutes. Yesterday, many people asked questions. Actually, first day only I allow people to ask questions, because second is quite a waste of time. Now, don't ask personal questions, for heaven's sake. Don't ask any personal question. That we'll attend to them later on, personally. They can be attended to. But anything general, if you want to ask, please ask a question general. He's in India.
Have you seen God yourself?
Why do you ask this question? Are you authorized to ask that question? First you see your spirit and then we'll talk about it. Why should you ask such a question? Are you an Indian? Then at least keep some manners. Please be seated. This kind of an arrogant question should not be asked. Have you seen God? Why should you ask me such a question? What authority have you got to ask that question to me? I have to ask you a question. Have you felt your spirit? All right? First feel your spirit. That's why Buddha never talked of God. I yesterday only told you. Because suddenly you want to see God. Have you got eyes to see God? You can't see me, even how can you see God? First of all, become your spirit. Then we'll talk about it. A little child won't go and talk to a king and slap him on the face, will he? Is he supposed to do that? We must know our boundaries, our maryadas. Especially Indians must know. I'm surprised sometimes to ask such a question like that. Have you seen God? Whether I have seen it or not, why should I tell you? But what is he saying?
Leave it, please. Let's have another question.
Doesn't behove you. It's very arrogant. I'm surprised that you've learned such ways here. It's never done by an Indian. It's very embarrassing.
Any other questions?
Just imagine, if I've seen it, is he going to believe me? Or not seen it? ये हिंदुस्तानियों का हाल है. हमारे तो नाक कटा के रख. इतना रद्दी लौट आया हुआ इस देश में. All the scum has come sometimes.
Any other questions, or you all like the experience?
I mean, what a question it is. Have you seen or not?
Okay, everyone slip their shoes off, feet on the floor, and just simply rest your hands on your lap.
अपनी मर्यादाएं तक नहीं रह गई.
Would you like the other microphone, or this okay? This microphone okay?
I would like to have, because I can speak, but I will not touch. He's a master of philosophy from Banaras University and all that, maybe that back. But in India, you won't find such people. I don't know from where these materialistic, absolutely gross people are. I mean, what a question to ask me. It's never done. I'm here to give you self-realization. That's all. And you should get it. That's your right. This is a bank, I should say, and I have to sign your checks. That's all. If you get your check signed, that's all. Finished. That's my relationship with you. I'm not going to tell you about myself to get crucified again. Christ tried to tell something about himself, and they crucified him. Now, if I tell him, of course, I know about God, he's not going to accept. If I say I don't know, then he's not going to accept. Stupid. Indians are not stupid at all, they're very wise people, I must say. I'm surprised from where this stupidity has come. Very wise. Indians are very wise because it's a yoga bhumi, it's such an ancient country of ours. You don't know the praises of this country, I cannot. Do not judge them by the people you see. No, 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 no. It's a very great country. It's very great, spiritual, absolutely spiritual country. See, these are, I don't know what's the matter with the very superficial people have come here. Extremely superficial. There are some great souls also, I say. But don't judge. Don't judge that great country. Once I was going to India with my husband and told him, we have touched our country. He said, how do you know? I said, see the vibrations. The whole country is vibrating. The atmosphere is vibrating. He said, really? I said, you go and ask the pilot. We were in the first class, we went down and I asked him. He said, sir, we just touched it about a minute back. Such a great country like that. The Kundalini of the universe resides in that country. Can you imagine? The Kundalini. And they have no desire to seek. That's the power of desire that resides there, and they have no power to seek. Kya kare? Kiske samne roye? I'm myself surprised. And those who have come also like gurus, horrible people making money. I'm ashamed if I am an Indian by any chance, or if, as I'm ashamed, I sometimes feel, what have they done to what we had? We have such a tremendous heritage. You are just the shoot, you are just the outside, you are the tree, we are the roots. You can't live without us. We are your roots. And these roots I see, I can't understand. Still, it's all right. It's the concern of a mother.